my therapist told me that I carry too much male energy, to which I said, "Are you calling me a nigga?" When you lean into your feminine energy, you allow yourself to receive, to attract, and to move through life in a way that feels aligned rather than exhausting. And it's not about abandoning your structure or ambition, but it's about letting yourself lead with presence, not pressure, with magnetism, not force. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Pretty Intentional, the podcast where beauty, lifestyle, and personal growth intersect. I'm your host, Candice Coleman, and here we have real conversations about everything from self-care and confidence to faith, friendships, and leveling up in life. In the last episode, we talked about how softness is true strength and how choosing grace, intuition, and flow over force can actually make you more powerful. But today, we're going even deeper. What if I told you there's a source of power within you that's been waiting to be unlocked? A way of moving through life with ease, magnetism, and intention. Lately, we've been hearing so much about softness, ease, and stepping into divine feminine energy, but what does that really mean? Divine feminine energy isn't just a trend. It's an ancient, powerful force that has always been within you. It's in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you adorn yourself, and the way you trust yourself. But for so many of us, that energy has been buried under hustle culture, survival mode, and the need to always be doing instead of being. So in this episode, we're going to break it all down. What divine feminine energy actually is, how to tap into it, and how to embody it in your daily life. From mirror work and mindset shifts to physical manifestations like beauty, fragrance, and fashion. Because feminine energy isn't just a mindset, it's something you can feel and become. So let's get right into it. What is divine feminine energy? Well, divine feminine energy is the embodiment of flow, intuition, creation, and receptivity. It's the ability to move through life with grace rather than force, to trust your inner wisdom, and to create from a place of ease rather than struggle. It's not about weakness, it's about power in its most natural, magnetic form. It exists in all of us, regardless of gender, but many women have been conditioned to suppress it. We all have both masculine and feminine energy within us, but masculine energy is seen as structure, logic, control, and doing, while feminine energy is fluidity, emotion, trust, and being. Now, I'm not telling you to get rid of all your male energy, okay? As someone who is currently struggling with a hormonal imbalance and literally has zero testosterone, like all my male energy is gone, I'm telling you, it's not the best to lean too far in one direction, but there's a time and place for both. However, the key is balance. When you lean into your feminine energy, you allow yourself to receive, to attract, and to move through life in a way that feels aligned rather than exhausting. Before Pretty Intentional was a podcast, it was the name of my lifestyle brand. I had a lot of saying, and do the most, be the most was one of the main ones. It was on shirts, bags, mugs, you name it. To this day, I still wear a chain that says the most. In one of my therapy sessions, my therapist told me that I carry too much male energy, to which I said, "Are you calling me a nigga?" And she said, "Yes." So this is why I joke around and say that I'm clinically diagnosed as being a nigga. But she went on to say that sometimes, a lot of times, I'm doing too much and I need to focus on just being. And then she stared at my chest. And then I looked down and noticed I was wearing one of my own damn shirts that said, "Do the most, be the most." And it was then I started realizing and trying to be more cognizant of the balance of my male and feminine energy and when I was aligned and when I wasn't. So how do you know if you're leaning too far in one direction? Well, sometimes it's not so obvious, especially because masculine traits like achievement, control, and hustle are often rewarded in our culture, especially in corporate spaces. But if you pause and really check in with yourself, the signs are always there. Maybe you feel like you're always in go mode, constantly checking things off your to-do list, but never actually feeling fulfilled. Maybe rest makes you feel guilty, like you're not being productive enough. Or you have a hard time receiving help or compliments. You're the strong one, the fixer, the one who holds it all together, right? That sounds familiar. When we lean too far into that energy, we can start to feel burnt out, disconnected, and even a little hardened, like everything depends on us and we can't let our guard down. Now, on the flip side, When you're more in tune with your feminine energy, you start to notice a shift. You feel softer, but not weaker. You trust your intuition. You let things come to you instead of chasing them. You make time for beauty, for pleasure, for stillness. You move with grace and ease. And it's not about abandoning your structure or ambition, but it's about letting yourself lead with presence, not pressure, with magnetism, not force. Once you've recognized that you're out of balance, what now? Well, the beautiful thing is coming back into alignment with your feminine energy doesn't require a massive overhaul. Again, it's not about doing more. It's about being more present, more intentional, more connected to yourself. It's small daily practices that bring you back to your softness, your intuition, and your power. So let's talk about it. How do you actually come back into balance when you've been living in your masculine energy for too long? These are 7 things that I personally did, and I started this during COVID, and it really helps me tap into my divine feminine energy and really changed everything for me. Number 1, prioritize rest and stillness. When I say rest, I'm not talking just crashing at night because you're exhausted, but intentionally carving out quiet moments to just be. No phone, no distractions, just space. At the beginning of COVID was a time that I was highly anxious and high strung. A lot of us were. We were locked down and we couldn't do a lot of things. And as a result, had to learn to just be. I would sit in my apartment in silence for days. And it's in that stillness that I began to really hear myself again and tap into what it was that I really needed and what my soul was craving. Number 2, soften your inner dialogue. During those quiet moments, I realized I wasn't talking to myself in the best way. So I had to change the tone. I started speaking to myself more like someone I loved. And as I always say, we speak to and treat others the way we speak to and treat ourselves. And softening your inner dialogue, it isn't about pretending everything's fine, because sometimes it's not. But it's about choosing compassion over criticism and catching yourself when you're speaking to yourself negatively or with judgment. And thoughts come and go a mile a minute. So this is not a permanent shift. It's something that you have to eternally catch yourself and reframe those thoughts. And this leads me to the third one, mirror work and affirmations. Doing mirror work and affirmations is a way to put into practice softening your inner dialogue. I've mentioned in the past episodes, but mirror work was a big thing for me. I started looking at myself in the mirror more, but with intention and speaking love into my reflection, even when it felt awkward at first. It's really about connecting with your own gaze and reclaiming how you see yourself. I've previously shared some affirmations that you can say in the mirror. I'm safe to be soft, I trust myself, etc. However, that's actually not my main method. Mine is through music and quite frankly having a bad bitch playlist that made me feel sexy and empowered. And then reciting those lyrics in the mirror is the way I affirmed and manifested my divine feminine energy. Any woman who's listened to Beyonce's Renaissance album, baby, take it from the top. I'm that girl, alien superstar. Get in the mirror and sing those lyrics. It's one big affirmation. Number 4, connect with your body. The feminine lives in the body, not the mind. So this was essential. Sometimes it was dancing alone to music that made me feel alive. Let's revisit being in the mirror, listening to Renaissance. Other times it was stretching and slow movement. During COVID, I had gone to the gym and was lifting heavy and felt like I pulled something in my back and I was scared. So I went to go see a chiropractor, and that's when I found out that I had scoliosis, quite literally out of alignment. As a result, I was in physical therapy, and the exercises that were the most impactful were very slow and controlled movements, just my body weight and maybe, very minimal hand weights. I was so used to sprinting and lifting heavy. It was a nice change of pace, and I saw great results, but it took me out of that super masculine energy and put me into a feminine state, and I loved it. And that's part of why you see a lot of women doing Pilates and yoga. Do the things. 5, romanticize your routines. I turn the ordinary into sacred. Lighting a candle before bed, making my own flower arrangements, putting on perfume even if I wasn't going anywhere. I'll put on perfume just to go to bed. wearing my nice silk and satin robes. My favorite thing was weekly bath rituals. I was never a bathtub girl until COVID. It was something that brought me sanity. Every Thursday, I would draw up a bath. I would get a bottle of Prosecco, light candles, play music, probably one of my bad bitch playlists, get some snacks, even put rose petals from my flower arrangements in the water and just drift away. Make the mundane memorable. It doesn't have to be that way. Make it sacred. Make it a thing. There was a lot of discourse about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and her Netflix show, Love Meghan, about how she was just doing basic things. Yes, she romanticized the little things. You can romanticize your morning routine. You can romanticize hosting. You can romanticize breakfast with your kids. There's nothing wrong with that. That puts you in that divine feminine energy. 6, tune into your intuition. Instead of overanalyzing every little thing, I started pausing and asking, what do I feel led to do? That one shift created more flow and less pressure. It's not called a woman's intuition for no reason. That phrase exists because for generations, women have carried an innate, unspoken knowing. It's that gut feeling, the inner whisper, the vibe you pick up before the words are even said, the sense that something is off or that something is meant for you. But we live in a world that constantly tells women to question their own instincts, to overanalyze, to get confirmation first, to ignore their body's signals in favor of being polite, logical, or agreeable. But tuning into your intuition means returning to you. It's remembering that your first knowing is usually the right one. 7, practice receiving. Now, I'm not going to lie, this one took work for me. I had to learn to receive without guilt, compliments, help, support, love, and even gifts. I had to learn to allow people to show up for me, even if it meant they potentially might disappoint me. And I had to remind myself that receiving isn't weakness, it's worthiness. I'm strong and will do what I need to do when I have to do it. But I also deserve to just be and be in a season of ease as well. And part of receiving was also just asking and saying what I wanted. And through practice, I'm here to tell you, baby, I always get what I want. Now, while these 7 practices are all about the internal shift, how you move, feel, and speak to yourself, there's also something powerful about how we show up physically. And honestly, that's what most people think about in terms of divine feminine. They think just physical attributes. Because let's be real, the divine feminine isn't just a vibe, it's also a visual. It's how you adorn yourself, how you carry your body, and how you express softness and sensuality through your hair, skin, scent, and your style. So let's talk about those intentional physical touches that help you embody your divine feminine energy on the outside too. Hair. Hair holds energy. Whether you're wearing it big and bold, slick and sculpted, braided, twisted, free-flowing, whatever it is, it tells a story. And taking time with your hair is a sacred practice. Whether you go to the salon or you're taking the time to do it yourself, it's not just maintenance, it's embodiment. It's choosing how you want to show up. I've had my hair every color, every length, a ton of styles. But one thing about me, people know the hair is going to be on point. I love body and movement, bouncing and behaving, layers that frame my face that are going to blow in the wind. It's going to smell good. It's going to complement the fit, the location, the mood, the moment. That is always intentional. And like those memes say, I wasn't sad. I just needed my hair done. Girl, go get your hair done. Do your hair. Be a hair done. Your makeup. Makeup is a form of expression, not a mask. It's another tool to embody softness, sensuality, or even boldness in a feminine way. Whether it's a dewy skin moment, a soft pink lip, a wing that says, I see you, how you paint your face can shift your energy. My makeup is always going to change it depending on the occasion or the event. I'm always going to play up my eyes with a lash, my cheeks with a blush. I'm a blush whore. And my lips, 99.9% of the time, you're going to get an ombre pinky nude lip out of me, and it's going to have a gloss. The lip's going to be wet. That's my signature. That came with time. That came with how I feel best when I show up in the world. And something you can do is you need to study your face and your features while you're doing your mirror work. Find your favorite features. Listen to what you get the most compliments about. Play that up. That's part of your game plan. Garments and fashion. The divine feminine dresses with intention. It doesn't mean always being done up, but it does mean wearing things that feel aligned with how you feel and want to move in the world. This goes back to that intuition, what feels natural and intuitive and intrinsic to you. The flow, the fabric, the fit, the texture, all of it speaks. And as you evolve as a woman and go through different seasons in your life, your fashion preferences may change because you change. But whatever you do, be comfortable in your choices, because the minute you're not comfortable, it reads. And that's not where it's at. Fragrance. Now, scent, this is a big one for me. Fragrance. It's a way we're also tapping into all the senses. Scent is personal, it's intimate, but most of all, it is unforgettable. The right fragrance makes you feel magnetic before you even open your mouth. It's invisible, but it lingers. It's the final detail in your feminine presence. There's nothing that I love more than when someone asks me what I'm wearing, or you walk by and someone catches a waft and they're like, "Who is that?" Bitch, it was me. Yes. I choose my fragrances based off the event, the mood, and all that I'm trying to evoke. But it is definitely always an intentional touch to set things off and live in someone's mind rent free. And let's not forget nails. Whether you're a short, natural nail girl or love a long, sculpted stiletto set, your hands are how you touch the world. Well done nails feel like a personal ceremony. They're a detail that says, I take care of me. I used to be a very bad nail biter growing up and admittedly had ugly hands. I was also a tomboy, so getting my nails done was just not something that I wanted to do or cared about. I didn't take getting my nails done seriously until about 2013. I started a new job in marketing and business development. I was working with strong Black women who had very routine nail appointments. And I knew I couldn't be going to these meetings and shaking hands with people trying to win multi-million-dollar contracts, and my hands were chewed up. So to this day, I do not play about my nails. I also encourage you to take pictures of yourself, whether you are setting up a tripod, you're doing selfie videos, actually book the photo shoot and really document those moments when you feel like the most divine and empowered version of yourself. I started doing photo shoots in my apartment. I had a blank white wall. I had floor to ceiling windows with a ton of natural sunlight coming in. And I would just get dressed up and do my hair and makeup for no reason other than to just take pictures and document myself. And it's a really empowering practice. Now, of course, this journey to become the divine feminine isn't one you have to walk alone. There are so many books and guides and resources out there that can help you explore your divine feminine energy more deeply. So I want to share a few books that are either on my shelf or in my cart or have been highly recommended by women I trust when it comes to exploring divine feminine energy. Whether you're looking for something spiritual, sensual, or just deeply reflective, these are books that come up again and again in conversations about softness, presence, healing, and power. So if you're curious about diving deeper, these might be beautiful starting points. And I'll be sure to link them in the show notes. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. It's not about manipulation, but understanding energy, magnetism, mystery, and allure. And it made me think differently about my presence. Lighter by Young Pueblo. This book is a demonstration how we can all move forward in our healing from learning self-compassion to letting go to becoming emotionally mature. And I think as you're moving into your divine feminine, you need to lighten your load. Also, How to Build a Fashion Icon by Law Roach. This is the famed celebrity stylist who works very closely with Zendaya and Celine. And Law did a very good job of how you show up in the world through fashion and how that taps into your divine feminine energy as well. Sacred Woman by Queen Afua, a spiritual guide rooted in African traditions, full of rituals and healing practices specifically for Black women. It's deep, intentional, and it's a whole lifestyle. Now, this one is that I have in my cart. Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. This one dives into feminine archetypes through storytelling and helps you connect to your wild, intuitive side. Pussy, a Reclamation by Regina Thomas-Sauer. Yes, the title is bold, but it's about reclaiming feminine joy, sensuality, and power unapologetically. Feminine Genius by Liana Silver. It's all about using your emotions and softness as strengths instead of suppressing them to survive. And The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Not a feminine specific book, but presence is at the heart of divine feminine energy, and this helps quiet the mind and tap into your being. Now, reclaiming your divine feminine energy isn't about rejecting masculinity, it's about balance. It's about learning to receive, to trust yourself, and to embrace your softness as a source of power. Ask yourself, where in my life am I forcing when I could be flowing? And if you've been feeling disconnected from your softness or you're craving more balance, start with this episode. You don't have to become a new person. You just have to come home to yourself. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Pretty Intentional. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a comment. You can follow me at Candice Beauty on all platforms, and be sure to follow Pretty Intentional as well. Remember, being intentional isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up for yourself and your journey. Until next time, stay true to yourself, live with purpose, and as always, keep it pretty intentional.